Greetings, boys and girls. My name is Eddie Brown. I was born in the glorious town of Hamilton, Scotland in 1958. My father was a policeman and we originally lived in East Kilbride. I moved to Motherwell when he left the police force and he got fast-tracked up in a company called British Relay, who were the first company in Britain to rent televisions. And with that became a celebrity in the town of Motherwell, and with that he started running gigs in the local town hall, which was rather large, and they ran a record bar as well, record bars around the country, Great Britain, and what pricked my ears up was the Dave Clark 5 doing bits and pieces. I never liked the Beatles, still don't like the Beatles, but there you go. And also, when he ran these dances, I saw big local bands from Scotland like the Beat Stalkers, White Trash, the Bow Street Runners, the Poets, our local boy Chris McClure in the section. And one night it was amazing enough just to see West Indian people in the town, but when I was like 5 or 6, I stood at the side of the stage and watched a very young Eddie Grant perform Viva Bobby Joe and Baby Come Back with the Equals. So I was a keen soccer player from a very early age, and when we moved out to the country in the little town called Strathaven, which was a dairy town where the famous Ayrshire cows come from, still got into soccer. Was very keen on it. Down the road from me was living a guy called Davy who was older than me. He was playing in the juniors when I was in the juveniles. Occasionally the gym teacher in his wisdom used to steal him to play with us if it was a hard game, because he was a smaller guy and would pass as one of us. But it was really him that got me into music, because I came back from the training session, I was walking home and he got off the bus with a funny looking cardboard box, and I said, "What's that, man?" He said, "I just bought an electric guitar," and he showed me this Columbus Gibson Les Paul copy, and I picked it up and he laughed, and I said, "What are you laughing at?" He said, "You got it round the wrong way." And ever since then I'm left-handed, but I've played every musical instrument right-handed. Anywho, I didn't know anything about wiring, but I went home when he showed me that guitar, and I had a HMV mono record player. I ripped the wires from the tone arm and I cut off the plugs in my tape recorder mic, and I joined the white wires and the red wires together on my tape recorder mic to my little record player, and it worked. I had my first sound system. So I screwed the turntable down and took the whole thing down to his house. He had a little amplifier, and we sat in his bedroom, and there it was. The first song he had sheet music for, it was called Tokaloshi Man. I can't even remember the guy's name. And as we started playing it and he had the sheet music and I didn't know the words, there was one bit in the song where I just sang window, 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 door, because I didn't know the lyrics. So anyway, we formed the band called Street, which was with Davy, myself, and a guy down the road called Johnny Muldoon, who had a Beatles drum kit. It was made of plastic with a wooden snare stand, and we used to jam in his grandfather's garage. And of course, what song did we do? The House of the Rising Sun. But anywho, getting down to the reuniting with Davy was incredible. It's a story in itself. I just finished recording my own album with Sydney, and basically I had stopped working and I couldn't afford to live in Sydney anymore. And my partner, I was on and off again at the time, she bought a house up in the New South Wales border in a place called Kyogo. And I decided to start looking for a decent studio up there to continue my writing with Dave Scotland, i.e. he would send the music to the studio, I would do the vocals and send it back to Sydney, so we continued working. One day he was next on the list and I rang him up and went there, and his studio's in the middle of nowhere, and I thought, oh my God, I'm driving to this place, and you drive over 2 creeks to get there and stuff. So I met him and struck it off with him from the word go. A really nice person, his wife Johanna, and we worked on some of my stuff. Then I got a message from Davy saying, would you like to demo some of my new songs? And I said, sure. So Davy sent the material over to Australia, to Brett, and we went to work on 2 or 3 songs of them. And we did these, and I was playing in the band up in the Gold Coast at the time, and yeah, that didn't go too well, but the thing was, when Davy then commissioned us to do the vocals and the backing vocals and mix and master the Clincarts album. Then one Friday night I came back from the studio and I'd had a few drinks. My partner was sitting there, things weren't going well, we decided to split up, but I was still staying there. And she turned around and said, what are you looking at? And I'm afraid I called her some nasty names. So she went outside, and unbeknownst to me, rang emergency and rang the police. And they arrived at the house. I said, good evening. And they said, oh, what's going on here? I said, I don't know. And they said, well, the lady wants you to leave. And I said, well, I've had a few drinks, I can't drive. And the only place I knew to go was to Brett's studio. And they said, we'll take you there. And I said, okay, let's go. And we went, and they didn't realise how far out of town it was. So I had somewhere to stay, and Brett was glad they took me in because we were working together anyway on the album. But the strangest thing was, I didn't write one lyric on this album, and it was like I had written this whole story about this part of my life that was absolutely staggeringly accurate as to what was going on in my life at the time. So it all worked out well in the end, and I met a beautiful person with Brett and his wife Johanna, and I've started work with Davy, married again, and here we are at this impasse of the new Clincarts album, and I hope it's a great success, and I hope everybody loves it as much as we did doing it. It's very different. It really took me a while to wrap my head around what Davy brought to the table for us to sing over, but I can't stop playing it myself, and for someone who has a jaundiced ear like me, oh God, I'm bored with this music, bored with that music, I love it. So all the best to everyone back home, and let's rock.